Well, you certainly know how to compliment a woman. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Do you know who I am?
No, I can't say that I do.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Really?
People know me.
Well, I'm very happy for you.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Kizzy's Friday Game Changers, taking your business to the next level.
Coming up on Kizzy's Friday Game Changers.
When your phone goes, you must always be in a complete state of positivity.
Hi, this is Ray Zen.
Hi, I'm Jamie Martin from Ideal Shopping Direct.
I'm Kate Bell, founder of Zip Us In.
Hi, my name is Eirik Eide Patterson. I'm a co-founder of Seaborg Technologies.
Hi, I'm Katie Farrell, transformation coach, founder of The Catalyst for Life.
Hey everybody, I'm David Frangioni, CEO and co-founder of All Access IDA, Inspire and Develop Artists, and you're listening to Kizzy's Friday Game Changer. Check it out.
Welcome to Kizzy's Friday Game Changers
with your host Kizzy Nkwocha,
the show for innovators and motivators, people just like you.
Kizzy is the publisher of Business Game Changer magazine and the property investor, editor of the successful Women in Business book series
and the best-selling Every Entrepreneur's Guide series.
Every week, Kizzy and his guests provide you with the tools you need to take your game-changing business to the next level.
Listen, learn, and innovate.
Now meet your host, your mentor, and your fellow game changer, Kizzy Nkwocha.
Hello and welcome to Kizzy's Friday Game Changers. My guest this week, Jo Macfarlane, is one of Scotland's leading candle makers and was featured in the book Successful Women in Business. Jo started her candle business from her kitchen table because of her desire to be sustainable and fill old candle vessels. And boy, does she fill them well. Her business pivoted in lockdown to offer 3 online courses catering for beginners to game-changing business people aiming to create and market their own brand to customers around the world. Just a few minutes, I'll be talking to game changer Jo Macfarlane to uncover her secrets of business success. Don't go away.
I'm Levi Roots, and you're listening to Kizzy's Friday Game Changers.
I'm Brian Stolley, founding partner of Wildcat Venture Partners.
Hey, Tanja Lee here, all the way from Melbourne, Australia. I'm a leadership and mindset specialist for real estate and property professionals.
Hi, I'm Jonathan from Amplify.
Hi, I'm Johnny Combe, CEO of Payback Phone UK.
I'm Kenneth Hafianyo, the founder of Jogbefa, an ethical fashion brand based in Ho, Volta region, Ghana. My Friday is never the same without Kizzy's Friday Game Changers.
Welcome to the show. This week I have the honour and privilege of breaking bread with Scotland's #1 candle maker, Jo Macfarlane. Now, Jo was featured in the book Successful Women in Business. She offers online courses for people looking to make it big in the candle making business, and she's also managing her own luxury branded candles. Ooh, luxury branded candles, as well as private label candles for luxury hotels across Scotland and London. But before we jump into today's conversation, we've got to take a brief pause for the cause. I've been asked to remind you that Money and Finance magazine is producing the definitive showcase. That's what it says here. Definitive showcase celebrating the very best 10 finance specialists. The Editor's Choice Top 10 Finance Specialists 2021 covers those extraordinary financial advisors, coaches, accountants, and investment specialists who've made an outstanding contribution to their business sector or customer's enterprise. For information about how to nominate yourself, a colleague, or a client for inclusion in the Editor's Choice Top 10 Finance Specialists, email hellomoneyandfinance@outlook.com. That address one more time is hellomoneyandfinance@outlook.com. candlemaker.com. That's it. Job's done and the bill's been paid. Jo, it's amazing to have you join me.
Thank you so much for having me. This is wonderful. Thank you.
Well, no, that was the entire show. I'm going now. Bye. No, please don't leave. Don't leave. No, don't leave me. This is just a start. Talking about starts, let's start at the beginning. Now, you started life as a high-flying flight attendant working first class for British Airways. What happened next? When did you discover this passion for candles?
I did. I had a wonderful life jetting around the world. It was just the most extraordinary life. Actually, I didn't treat it like a job. It was just a wonderful lifestyle. And then we decided to start a family. So when you become pregnant, and well, with most airlines, they ground you, so you're not allowed to fly. So yeah, I was at home. I helped my husband start up his physiotherapy practice. And when my son was 1, I decided, for some sleep-deprived, crazy decision, that it'd be a great time to start a business. I think at that moment, reality struck that I didn't want to be on an aircraft anymore. Potentially in, I don't know, say Australia or Buenos Aires for 10 days. I thought, gosh, I need to do something that I'm going to stay at home with, and just started then. Yeah, just thinking, what was I going to do?
And why candles?
Well, I've always loved candles, and purely, I'm quite an eco-conscious person, so I'm always sort of hoarding bits and pieces, and I love recycling and being as green as I can be. And I just had some empty vessels sort of sticking around. It was Christmas time, and I thought, let's try my hand at candle making. And I was very bad. I went and bought some ingredients from a high street shop. Turns out they weren't very good. And I just really started making. I thought, this is wonderful. I love this. And that sort of sat alongside. I was doing other things as well that were sort of, in my sort of creative brain. I was doing other things as well. And the candles just coasted along, the side of what else I was doing. And then it just took over. I think there was this pivot point where the candles, I was like, okay, is this a hobby or is this a business? I'm going to have to make a decision here. And when I decided that it was going to be a business, it just grew.
So really, from the very early days then, you didn't really intend to start a business at all?
Absolutely not. No business experience whatsoever, really. Customer service, I love the sort of customer service aspect. And I think that was really good for the business in a lot of ways. And the fact that my name was behind the business as well, people know generally if they call, they're going to get me on the phone. They're like, is that Jo? So they're quite surprised. And I think that has helped, because I think when you see a business that doesn't have someone's name, then I think people can treat you slightly differently. They just think you're a person on another end of the phone. But yeah, so definitely the customer service side of it definitely helped the business.
Okay. And then when you made this groundbreaking decision that you were going to transform what appears to have started off as a hobby and a passion into a business, what were the early challenges you faced in getting the business off the ground, and how did you overcome them?
Gosh, well, starting the business in my kitchen was a big challenge, juggling a husband and son at home and running a business and, pouring candles for the Fairmont Hotel in St Andrews out of my kitchen was definitely a challenge. And then I started running the workshops from my kitchen table, which then went on to run for actually, I think about 1.5 years, so I was welcoming people initially that I knew. And then as word spread and I got a website, I was attracting people from around the country. So that was a bit of a different vibe, inviting strangers to your kitchen. And I was trying to create an atmosphere of sort of Zen-like atmosphere. Could you imagine this? My husband and son are getting up late at the weekend. I'm trying to give my son Cheerios breakfast, and clean up the area in the sink and clean the Cheerios out the sink before the customers are arriving. Lighting as many candles as possible to create this zen-like atmosphere. And then, so it was reasonably calm. And then my husband would say, "Oh, do you know, there's some footballers coming round for some strapping. They've got a game today as a physiotherapist, and the local footballers would like to drop in to get their legs strapped before their game." And I was like, "Oh, wait a second here. I've got candle makers coming to the door. Picture this, the dining room with some footballers in there with some legs hanging out, getting strapped up, and lovely women arriving for their workshops, It was just crazy. I'm like, are you here to have your legs strapped, or are you here, for candle making? So
it sounds like a wild party.
Oh, it was just like, in the meanwhile, I'm trying to like float around in this, trying to give this idea of calmness, so people could feel comfortable. Because I think people can sense energy, and if they came and it was all like a bit chaotic, then it doesn't make for a creative atmosphere. So yeah, having my studio now has definitely improved things.
Well, it all sounds like a hell of a learning curve, but I was wondering then, does that mean that you didn't have a business mentor or a coach to stand beside you and guide you along the way?
I didn't at all, no. It was completely winging it, and to say the technical term. It was like, okay, I need a bookkeeper, let's find me a bookkeeper. Okay, I need this, let's figure out how to do trademark the business. And it was a case of just literally finding what I needed as I went along. Okay, I need a logo. Let's go find a logo. And I think when people started coming and they were saying, "Oh, we'd quite like to learn how to," a bit later on, we'd quite like to learn how to create a business like yourself. That's why putting a package together in the course, it meant that not that they weren't going to make mistakes. So I think making mistakes in business is really important, that you make your own mistakes, because you can't really learn if you don't make your own. But I wanted to create an aspect to the business that gave them a framework to say, this is what you need and this is where to look. Because I think when you're starting out, if you don't know what you need, you just don't know where to look. You're like, well, I have no idea. What is that? Where should I be looking for it? So I wanted to give people the ability to have that at their fingertips, and then they could just concentrate on their candle making and perfecting that, and know that they had a framework behind them.
How do you get yourself in front of people then? Because I'm thinking to myself, cool, you started this business from your kitchen table, you've evolved it, and you're getting people to come in and you're giving workshops, but you still have to present your brand to fairly large corporates, to large businesses and shops. How did you go about that? Did you do a lot of cold calling, or was it by referral and recommendation? How did you get your name out there?
Well, I think in a funny way, I attracted it. I do have a sort of methods where, I'm sort of teaching people how to get on people's radars. Cold calling never works. It's just evil. And, I always it's all about relationships, in business and in life. It's all about connections that you make. And, I was talking to someone this morning and saying, you could feel like you're being productive because you've put out, 50 potential emails, to say 50 hotels. But don't be surprised if you don't hear back from any of them. It's kind of the sort of softly approach where you're connecting with people. I was very lucky to create candles for the Fairmont Hotel very early on. So if they requested 200 candles to give out as corporate gifting, then those 200 candles then went out to potentially 200 new customers. And then I think a manager from one of the hotels in London, the St Pancras Pullman Hotel, they received a candle. So then she contacted me and said, could you create a corporate gifting candle for us? And then I did that. And then she moved to the Novotel at Canary Wharf. So then I created candles for the Novotel. So for me, it's been an easy, it's not been a hard process. It's almost just like organically happened. Because I think sometimes if you push for something too hard, although don't get me wrong, I'm a huge driver of creating connections and in business, but I think you have to be aligned, and it just can naturally organically happen, if it's right for you.
You've used a couple of phrases that stand out with me because you talk about alignment, you talk about Zen and tranquility. I get the feeling that you're a subscriber to the law of attraction theory of the world.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it's been, I don't know if you've read my book. If not, I'll send you a copy. But, there's things that I share in the book that's possible for everybody. I manifested going to Downing Street with a business. I cut out, if I could share this, I cut out the copy of, I cut out the Downing Street door. I had that in my manifesting box. I cut out a paper copy of a triathlon medal because I knew I wanted to be a triathlete. Just for the sake of being one, because I knew that it would push me into not being in my comfort zone. It would push me well out of my comfort zone. And I know when you go outside your comfort zone, things expand for you. So manifesting, and I held this paper cut out of a triathlon medal in my hands, and I thought, you know what? When I get my real medal, I'm going to photograph you both together. And I got myself a swim coach because I didn't swim sufficiently at the time. I could probably just, float around in the water if I was lucky. Got myself a swim coach. And a couple of years, maybe, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years later, I did my first triathlon. Badly, should I say. I don't think I came last, but I think I was definitely in the bottom 10. So I think attracting, being on the wavelength, the correct wavelength, and attracting things, asking the universe is huge. But sometimes we become, you'll know yourself, you become so fast in life that actually you forget to stop and ask and wait for things, to catch up with you as well.
I think I have the opposite problem. I always assume that everything that I want, I'm going to get. My wife will tell you that my favorite saying is that I have everything I need to get everything that I want. So it never occurs to me and that something might not work. And when something doesn't work, I am usually genuinely really surprised.
Yeah. But then you have to think, okay, well, something better is, what, like we have a saying in Scotland, what's for you won't go past you. As well. But, I think asking the universe and attracting is huge. And I do, and like with my son as well, ever since he was young, we've had, or we played games where we're looking out for different signs and being in alignment. And, this one day he's not a runner really, but it was a race that he wanted to take part in. And I said, well, let's have fun on the way there. Let's look out for the number 111. And we drove there. It was probably about 40 minutes away. So he was like, well, what do you mean? What do we do? And I said, well, look, there's the petrol. It's £1.11. We passed 111, the street, the house number on the street. I said, you've just got to be, once you're in tune with that, then you'll start seeing it everywhere. And so we had great fun, and then we kind of probably just, started another conversation. And we got to the race. He was first because I'm always quite, I love being early. I'm a bit of a timekeeper bandit. And so he got there early and he was first to apply, go and get his number. And he turned around and his number was 111. And he was just like, Mom, look, my number is 111, And it could have been number one, because he was first there. But he was like, this is unbelievable. And I said, it's not unbelievable. You just have to be, in tune with it and But unfortunately now, this week, well, I'd say the past 2 weeks, it's kind of backfiring on me because he is he's desperate for a puppy, and he is doing everything he can to do all these little manifesting signs and, you know, popping them on my phone. My phone has suddenly got a screensaver of a puppy, and lots more. But yeah, manifesting and, you know, the law of attraction is amazing.
Talking about attracting what you want, how much work do you do, or how much effort do you put into the social media aspect of your business? I mean, do you do a lot of tweeting? Are you putting things out on Facebook or Instagram a lot?
I am, yes. I'm not on Twitter now. I used to be on Twitter, but yes, I do a lot of work on social media. I'm not sure how many hours a day I could check my hours on my phone, but it is a lot, I would say, more than anything else. Especially now, you know, I mean, you know, I'm a micro business, and you know, how else would I talk to? How else would I reach my customers? I do a lot of Facebook advertising. I, you know, had a call this morning with a Facebook expert. For at least an hour, and I've been working with him probably for about a good maybe 8 weeks now. So yeah, I do a lot of Facebook advertising. Instagram is sort of it's very visual. I like being on Instagram, but it doesn't do. It's not number one for my business. But yeah, I think being present and being current, you know, having everything up to date. You know, there's no point in joining a social media channel and not being, you know, present on it. And just being very open to opportunities. You know, I say to everyone that's on my business course, you know, be open to opportunities, because actually, you know, although you have a candle business and you just think you're going to be selling candles from your website or a shop, you never know what is round the corner for you, you know. Just be open, and then jobs will come into you, you know, that you're truly aligned with. You know, there's no point in working for someone that you think, actually, that's just really not me, you know. So and I'm very lucky, so I get a lot of requests in a week for private label work, so where I create a candle with the brand of, say, the hotel or the event. And obviously, you know, I'm a small business. I can't do every job, and they're not all jobs I would be capable of. You know, there may be request different packaging or something. So, you know, if I talk with the client and say, look, I've got a group of wonderful candle makers, can I share your request out with them? You know, I can't fulfill this job for you at the moment, but would you be happy for me to pass it on to the group? And 99% of the time they are like, oh, this is wonderful. So it's nice being able to almost give the tribe a ready-made business if they want it. You know, it's literally, you know, they could pick up a really good chunk of work if they want to, you know.
Such a powerful idea. Keep yourself open to possibilities, and the right things can happen for you. I think we can all relate to that, Jo, but hold that thought. We're going to take a quick music break and come back to our conversation in just a few minutes. This week's boss star is Stephanie M. Casey, CEO of Lovage Inc. Now, Lovage Inc. is a creative agency based in Dallas, Texas, offering exceptional Wix website development and design, custom branding, creative collateral, and related marketing strategy. Now, when Stephanie isn't helping business people make, mold, and mobilize public opinion, she's also a very, very talented musician. Here she is performing They Come Out Singing. Have a listen to this.
One
Get in touch with Kizzy's Friday Game Changers by emailing fridaygamechangers@email.com and follow us on Twitter by searching for Kizzy's Friday Game Changers.
I'm Rupert Rickson, founder of Perspective Pictures, and I've been trying to change the game for 8,760 days. That's why I listen to Kizzy's Friday Game Changer.
The world famous Game Changers Show. Game Changers Show. Game Changers Show.
Welcome back. Before the break, Stephanie M. Casey, CEO of Lovage Inc., performing They Come Out Singing. And I'm in the studio talking to game-changing candle maker Jo Macfarlane. Now, Jo, I'd like us to play a game. The game I have in mind is something we call past, present, and future. Now don't be alarmed. This is completely harmless. All we're going to do is drill deep inside your head and uncover a unique insight into the mind of game changer Jo Macfarlane. Will you submit to the program?
Oh, that sounds really interesting. I'd love to.
Let's do it. Let's have some fun. Now, look, Jo, you've got to imagine you can hear a clock ticking in the background. That's the sound of time passing by second after second. Now, imagine yourself traveling back in time to meet the young Jo Macfarlane just starting out on her game-changing business journey. Now, I like Jo because Jo likes to ask questions. She asks you for 2 pieces of advice. Jo wants you to tell her one thing that she must make sure she does in business and one thing she must make sure she doesn't do in business. What would you tell her?
Oh, gosh. I would say you have to remain positive. You have to treat everyone the same. You don't know who's going to be calling, when your phone goes, you must always be in a complete state of positivity because actually, you never know who that email's from or, who's on the phone. So yes, definitely remain in a positive state of mind.
And what would you advise her to make sure she doesn't do in business?
Oh gosh. Say no. Never say no. Always say yes.
Right. Never say no. Never. Under no circumstance must you ever say the word no.
Yeah, you can use other words. Just say, perhaps I can't help you, but I can connect you with someone that can. Yeah. So even turn a negative into a positive.
So going back to this law of attraction stuff that we were talking about before the break, it sounds like it's all about putting out the right type of vibration.
Yes, absolutely. Is it the Dr. David Hawkins scale? You can look at that. I share that in my book actually. So you can look at where you are on a daily basis and you can just work to raise your vibration. I think when we come into this world, we come in at a vibe of about, say, 250. Maybe Buddhas and yogis are sitting up at around 1,000. And of course, you can go down the scale as well. So you have to be very aware of, eating great food that has fresh food, organic if you can, fresh air, lots of water, and just raise your vibe, and they always say, you attract what you're in, on the wavelength of. And if you're attracting bad energy and bad things, then you actually, the only thing that you can control is your own vibration. You can't control anybody else's. You just have to raise your own and work at that. And you'll find out it's not the same for everybody. You know, people would maybe meditate, or, you know, for me, it's being in the sea. I love being in water. And I think the only thing, like, you know, you have to control you have to raise your own vibe. If somebody's treating you bad, then actually you need to look at the way that perhaps you're treating them, or, you know, it's almost like a mirror reflection.
So I'm just writing this down as you're speaking, and I've just written a phrase down. I'm paraphrasing you now. I've got here. My mate Joe says, "Your personality creates your personal reality." Does that kind of sum it up?
Yeah, it does, because, you know, you get these people who are just, I don't know what the word. I'm sure there's like a nickname for people that are really negative, and they go around and they attract car crashes, they attract stubbed toes, they get out of bed and they go, oh my gosh, I can tell it's going to be one of these days. And then of course it is, you know, because they're creating it. And I think if you're very aware, then you can get yourself out of that. You know, if something happened, then it doesn't have to set the mood of your entire day. You can work on it. And I know myself, you know, I think in lockdown everybody went through stages where their vibe was a bit low. I think actually the vibe of the world was, which made it really hard to kind of push through and, you know, raise your positivity. And I think if you go around in a positive manner, you talk to yourself in a wonderful way, you know, you tell yourself that you love yourself, you know, I think it's a great way to be. You know, I listen to the wonderful Tonya Lee quite a lot, and she's just wonderful. You know, she talks to herself so positively and lovingly that, you know, she just attracts really good things, you know. I'm sure you've got a few friends that, you know, that are like they just attract whatever's bad going to happen. They're like a magnet.
Yeah, absolutely. But I believe that birds of a feather should flock together. So you should only sort of collaborate or socialize with people who are on the same sort of vibrational level as you are. Because even if you go for a walk with somebody, just socially, you know, someone's going to have to adapt their pace of walking to the other so you can walk together. So I think it's best to try and find people who are already in tune with the way you see the world.
That's it. And if you want to raise your game, you know, you find, like Tonya talks about, like raising her, when she needed to raise her game, she would, like, rather than just going to the sort of local, maybe, do you call them like a greasy spoon sort of coffee shop, she would suddenly go to this beautiful hotel, order a coffee, sit in the lobby, you know, read magazines or, you know, material that was like way beyond, you know, she could ever have imagined. She would, you know, she would buy like one quality item rather than, you know, a whole wardrobe from, you know, a shop that, you know, sells things for like a couple of pounds. And it's so important to just be aware and think, okay, I'm raising my game. I'm going to do this and I'm going to hang out here. You know, I'm going to travel first class. If that's what, you know, imagine yourself doing that, you know, cut out for your manifesting box, cut out a first class travel, you know, London to New York, and, you know, and do that.
Very wise words. Well, that's the past taken care of. Let's move into the present. Jo, who motivates you? Do you have a role model?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. That's a good question. I have. I'm quite good at discipline and motivating myself, which I think's not always been the way. I think that's definitely had to be trained. I listen to. Gosh, I listen to a lot of people, mostly American actually, Jim Rohn, Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins. You know, I would say I don't have a role model like one person, but I do think there's almost like a mastermind group that I would listen to, saying, okay, I need a bit of chat from Jack Canfield today. I'll listen to him. and it all does the trick, you know. It's you can dip in and boost your motivation.
Can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just had an epiphany. I think a good role model for you would be the future you.
Yes, I love that. Yes, that is perfect.
Interesting.
And you know, when you do like letters from, have you ever done a letter from the future? Kizzy, you'll love that. So you write to yourself from your future self. So I've done that quite often, where I've written like say for example, oh, I'm so grateful, and you have to write it in the present. So you have to say, gosh, I'm so grateful now that I'm working with clients in New York and San Francisco. I'm traveling first class every week, which is, you know, it's just the norm for me now. My son has graduated from university. He's got the job that he wants. I have a yacht in the harbour that I have, you know, I have a butler. I have a chef who cooks me vegetarian food, you know, so you actually, and when you write it down, they say writing down is the first stage of manifesting. So actually, I found, I don't do it often as I should, but I found letters from the future, and I'm looking at it going, when did I write that? Because that's actually in reality now. You know, I mean, I wrote that I wanted my son to go to this school in St Andrews before I even had a son, you know, and you could write it from 5 years in the future and say, gosh, I'm so glad that I'm traveling around the world by yacht. I'm, 2 stone lighter than I am. I'm happy eating. You know, I'm vegan now. So all these things that you are hoping for, but you're writing it to yourself from your future. It's so powerful.
All right. Okay. Well, I've got to say, I'd never heard of that, but I'm going to try that. It sounds like a really good idea.
And you could be as like crazy as you want. You could say, okay, I have a penthouse in London, which is just, these are all kind of materialistic things. So I want to include things like, I'm so glad I decided to be a Buddhist. So you could talk about your spiritual journey as well. It's not just about material things. So I want to make it clear that I'm actually not a materialistic person, but if you're going to have a car or something, you could say, well, I have a Tesla, and, I like being eco. So, having, electric cars, is a priority to the family, and just create whatever you wish, and just be as bonkers as you want as well. You could, if you want to drink champagne, you could say, okay, I bought my own vineyard, and I'm so lucky, that we can drink our own champagne from our own vineyard, like crazy stuff.
Well, talk about being bonkers, or being as bonkers as you want to be. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, that's what a question. Oh my gosh, one superpower. Oh gosh, that is a tricky one. If I could have one superpower.
I asked someone this question a couple of weeks ago. I said, if you could have one superpower, what would you like to have? And he said, I'd like to have a super sense of decorum. I thought, what?
Wow.
A super sense?
Wow.
That's different.
That is different. Gosh, I think maybe if I was, I don't know, the ability to, let's do invisible, because then the ability to travel and be a sort of like subliminal message in the ears of like, all these people are fighting in the world. Let's do that. So I could like go and whisper, like just world of peace, and, just, something crazy like that.
Right. So let's just get this right. You want to control the minds of others by whispering.
Yes. Do you think
really?
That would work?
Well, okay. Not only am I looking worried, but I think you find that Stuart, your husband, he's writing this down.
Yeah, something crazy like that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Is that like being telepathic or something? Telepathy
Yeah,
or
like
like
just
that?
putting these like little subliminal messages in. Yeah, it would have to be something that would stop, global warming, and it would create world peace for sure.
I like it. That's
Maybe
good.
we could invent a superpower for that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what would that fall under, because it's not really mind control. It's more. In fact, I think what you just said is that you want to be God.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, let's whisper it into. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's use the power of suggestion.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
well, so that's the past, that's the present, and so we are left with the future. Let's go 100 years from now. Now, I'm probably not going to be around, but with all this energy that you've got, you probably will be. But just in case you're not around in 100 years from now, how would you like to be remembered?
Oh gosh, if I could be remembered just for someone that's helped other people, that's connected other people, that have given somebody perhaps like a word or an inspiration. When somebody says to you, "Gosh, those words changed my life," then that would be nice. If I could get people like women to do what they want to do without fear, then that would be amazing. Just to take a step. People never start because of the fear of just for fear. They never start anything. So I think that would be amazing if I could be remembered for someone that's really touched, reached people around the world and got them to really see that it's all within themselves now. They don't need any, like they say, whatever you need is actually within you now. You don't need anything external, anything that you create today, it was actually already in you, You just didn't, you just didn't have the tools to sort of like chip away at it, or and I think it sometimes does take somebody's words to have a powerful effect on you. So yeah, that would be lovely.
You sound very spiritual for a hard-headed businesswoman. you sound almost like you're a Buddhist businesswoman or something. You sound as though you care about people a lot.
I do. I'd love to. I've been to a few Buddhist retreats, but I do like a glass of wine, and I know as a Buddhist you couldn't have wine, so we'd have to park that for now.
Oh wow! So if you're a Buddhist, you're not allowed to drink wine. I didn't know that.
I think
true?
That's true. I think you'd have to abstain from alcohol, and I do love a little glass of wine.
Excellent. Look, I've had my screen flashing saying that we've gone way beyond our allotted time, which I had a feeling we were going to. But before we wrap up, I just want to know: is there anybody who may be listening to this conversation, this very esoteric conversation, this incredibly inspiring conversation that you might want to say hello to?
Oh, do you know, I love shouting out for other women in business and other business owners and people. So I'd love to give a shout out to a lovely friend of mine, Rosanna Croft. She runs Rosanna Croft Jewellery, based in London. I'd love to give a shout out to her and a get well soon, because she's not been too well recently. And also a fantastic friend, Marie Patterson, who runs a well-being and coaching business. She's changing lives and fantastic at that as well. And if I could say one more, Mark Robson, who runs 6 Miles High, we used to work together in the flying. So yeah, if that's okay, if I could have 3, that would be great.
You can have as many as you want, So it's a big shout out goes out to Rosanna Croft, to Mark Patterson, and to it's Marie Patterson and Mark Robson.
That's
is that right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Jo, it's been an amazing experience getting to spend some time with you on Kids' Friday Game Changers. I want to say thank you so much for sharing your insight and your wisdom.
Oh, honestly, Kizzy, it's such a pleasure meeting you, and I'm just so grateful that you invited me on. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure's been all mine. Well, the time I've spent with Jo has made me realise that the amount of satisfaction you get from life depends largely on your own ingenuity, your self-sufficiency, and like Jo, your resourcefulness. People who wait around for life to supply their satisfaction usually find nothing but boredom. The message from game changers like Jo is be positive, be strong, and be resourceful. The world really is what you make of it. This is a lesson that game changers like Jo Macfarlane are teaching us every day. Listen, learn, and innovate. Playing us out is Stephanie M. Casey, and this wonderful track's called Dreaming Things. See you next week. Get in touch with Kizzy's Friday Game Changers by emailing fridaygamechangers@email.com and follow us on Twitter by searching for Kizzy's Friday Game Changers.
Hi, I'm Johnny Combe, CEO of Pay by Phone UK, and my Friday would not be complete without Kizzy's Friday Game Changers.
The world famous Game Changers Show. Game Changers Show. Game Changers Show.